So recently there was an interview that went up on the Kotaku website, and it is very good news for us Outlaws fans. And today I'm pretty much going to be breaking down all of that information for you guys, as like I said, there is some very good stuff in there. Now, if you guys are interested in Star Wars Outlaws, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. I'm going to be covering any and all news leading up to the launch of the game. But with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. Now, ever since the official announcement of the game at Ubisoft Forward, one thing that I've seen a lot of people having concern about is essentially the length and just the overall scale of the game. Ubisoft have recently released a lot of very big games, especially the Assassin's Creed games, some of them being well over 100 hours to actually complete. And although a lot of people would be probably very excited by that, understandably a lot of people are not excited by that either. Ubisoft actually confirmed at San Diego Comic-Con that each planet will be about the size of 2 to 3 zones in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which, context for those of you guys who haven't played that game, that is pretty freaking massive. One zone in that game is essentially an entire city, and so the fact that each planet in Outlaws is going to be about 2 to 3 times the size of that, and there's already confirmed to be at least 5 planets in the game, that is a hell of a lot of area that we can actually explore in Star Wars Outlaws. Now, obviously, when a lot of people heard that, they were obviously worried that the game would be too big and kind of would just take too long to finish. For me personally, I actually don't mind that. I do love a really long game. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Skyrim is my favorite game of all time, and these games take a very long time to finish, often well over 100 hours. So for me personally, I don't really mind, but I do also understand where people are coming from. Not everyone has that much time to sink into games, and even if you do, sometimes you just want something that is sort of short and sharp, straight to the point, and something that is very exciting the whole way through. Now anyway, in this Kotaku interview, Julian Garrity said, "Our objective is really to get people into a very dense, rich, open world adventure that they can explore at their own rhythm." He then followed up by saying, "So it's absolutely not a 200 or 300 hour epic unfinishable RPG. This is a very focused action adventure RPG that will take people on a ride and is very manageable." That right there is going to be music for a lot of people's ears. Any of you who were sort of stressing that this game would be super long and just almost tedious to finish, that is hopefully not going to be the case. And the fact that he used action adventure is a very good sign there. Usually those sorts of games are between the 20 to 40 hour mark. Obviously that could vary for this game because it does seem a lot bigger than a lot of the other action adventure games, but the fact that he confirmed it's not a 200 or 300 hour epic is going to be very exciting to a lot of people. Something else that they actually mentioned in the interview as well is that there has been a bit of an issue with a lot of Ubisoft games, especially recently, where there's been pretty much like an overbearing UI. If you're not really sure what I mean by that, then just take a look at this meme of what if Ubisoft made Elden Ring, and this kind of shows exactly what Ubisoft UI has kind of turned into recently with a lot of the Assassin's Creed games, where there's just too much stuff on your screen. There's just markers all over your map for every single thing you need to do, and it kind of just becomes overbearing. Sometimes people just want to jump into a game and go exploring on their own, but if there's a million different markers and sort of indicators showing you what you need to do and when you need to do it, it almost feels like the game is playing you and you don't actually get to choose what you're actually doing. Now, Navid Kavari from Massive Entertainment said about this, "I think our job is to make sure that the player organizes their experiences according to their desires. That's one of the big pluses with an open world game, is the agency of the player. So if we do our job right, it'll be so dense and so rich with different distractions that we won't have to rely on so many UI indications for them." I think essentially what he's getting at there is that if they do their job properly and design the map and just the overall game properly, or to a high quality I should say, it's going to result in not needing to use UI to actually sort of indicate where you need to go. Rather, just when you're exploring the planet, you'll just see something that kind of looks interesting and you'll go over and have a look at it, and maybe there's some hidden little quest line there, or there's someone to talk to, and from there that's where you actually pick up on what you can do in the game, rather than like as you're driving past somewhere it has a big neon sign out the front saying exactly what that is and exactly what you need to do for it, because sometimes that can just be super annoying when the entire game kind of like holds your hand all the way through it. Some of the best games of all time just let you kind of find things on your own, and it almost makes the game more enjoyable because it kind of feels as though you found that thing rather than they actually put it in the game for you to play. Overall, these are definitely some very good signs for Outlaws. The fact that the team are sort of aware of these issues that can sometimes plague Ubisoft games. Don't get me wrong, some of the older Ubisoft games are absolute bangers. I'm a very big fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and although some of the new ones are also really good, they definitely do have their flaws. So it is good to see that the team are very aware of these issues, even though it is obviously a different dev company that works on Assassin's Creed. They're under the same publisher and they can obviously take direction from the same people, which can lead to very similar games between all of these different dev studios. The fact they're aware of it though does mean that they're hopefully going to try and avoid those things. And like I said, even though I would personally be very happy with a 100+ hour game in Star Wars Outlaws, I know that not everyone is going to be keen on that. And so for those of you who want a sort of short and sharp game, something maybe around the length of Jedi Survivor, maybe a little bit longer, then this game is hopefully shaping up in a very good way for you guys. I'm keen to hear your thoughts though, so be sure to leave them down in the comment section. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.